Hello. Um, what's up? Today is my first day of vacation, permanent vacation, retirement, and I went to the store, bought my stuff, came back home. Now I gotta tell my secret. Um, well, I came here to the United States in 1976 or 75, 76, yeah, something like that. 75, 76. And then I went to one school, went to another school, high school or grade school or whatever it was. Guess it was high school. Um, yeah, it was high school, but it was, whatever. Then, anyway, in like about 1979, I went to Bible school. So 79, 80, was in Bible school. Then I kind of like dropped out, started going to a Messianic congregation, Hebrew Christian synagogue, or whatever, Hebrew Christian church. So, and then I started working as a landscaper. And then, something happened to me. Something happening to me. Um, I began to be have you know some kind of delusions, and started thinking I was something great, and then something small or bad, good and bad. Started having hallucinations. Started hearing things. Started seeing written out things that I was hearing. In other words, I would not only hear things, but I would see the words of what I was hearing in front of me. And then I began to black out, but it wasn't like a normal blackout. It was like fire, like there was fire all around my head, and the fire just kept closing in, closing in, closing in until I had tunnel vision. And then, so since I had tunnel vision, I put my head down to get the blood to rush to my head, and it didn't do any good. And so of course, I was pretty frightened, and so then I was, you know, I was going for a while without eating. I mean, after that, actually, I didn't sleep or eat. But anyways, I put my head down. I just kept, I was praying and everything. So then, slowly but surely, the fire started. I mean, the tunnel vision started to subside. The fire, whatever it was. But then I remained like paranoid and everything, seeing things for 3 days. I didn't sleep. I didn't, and I wasn't hungry either, so I didn't eat. And I was staying with with a friend, and he was telling me, you got to eat something, you got to eat something. So I ate something. I ate a little bit, but didn't really eat very much. But for 3 days, 3 nights, I didn't even sleep. And then after that, I would have like a fitful sleep and be woken up in the middle of the night with the hallucinations and things like that. So, to make a long story short, the church, they got together and they took me for a ride. They invited me to go for a ride, and I said, "Wow, yeah, they're thinking about me, right?" So they took me to the hospital, and then of course I was angry, and they said, "Well, you got to go in and talk to the doctor." So I said, "Okay, whatever." So to go in and talk to the doctor, he asked me questions and stuff like that. Then they said, "Well, you gotta do one of two things: either you get treated, or else you go home, back home to New Jersey." And I said, "Well, what kind of choice is that?" So I said, "Yeah, I'll go back home to New Jersey." So my roommate was a real swell. Actually, he was like the landlord, whatever. But he was the he 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 paid my ticket. Or he actually brought me over to New Jersey, to the Newark airport, where I happened to be recently retired from as an airline employee. But of course, I didn't get a job right away. I was still hallucinating. I was hallucinated on the plane over to New Jersey as well, the airplane, and I was still hallucinating, still hallucinating. And then I got a job at Great Adventure. I worked on the roller coaster at Great Adventure. Of course, I didn't really say anything or anything much to anybody. So I'm working on the roller coaster, and I'm still hallucinating and hearing things and all kind of stuff. Of course, I thought I was doing miracles too. Just casting out demons or whatever. All kind of silly stuff. But anyways, so I just kind of like figured out. This is I didn't know what was wrong with me, but I knew something was wrong with me and it wasn't right, and I knew that I had to like do something. So what I decided to do, I decided to whatever it was that I was believing, or the hallucinations or whatever they were that I was believing in and hearing and seeing, I would just ignore them, because when I was still back in Chicago, I was at a Bible study, and for some reason I was a little bit irate, and I went off on the Bible teacher. Started, of course, it was funny because he never paid attention to me, right? But then when I started making, going off on him, making a lot of, noise, then it's like all of a sudden he pays attention to me as if I was somebody before I was nobody. And but anyways, I don't even remember what I was, arguing about, but I was arguing about something. But anyways, he recently passed away. His name was Jan Moskowitz. I mean, not recently, a few years back, with Jews for Jesus. But anyways, um, uh, but what I noticed when I was yelling at him, that that the hallucinations kind of like subsided a little bit, and I'm thinking, wow, that's weird. But they were still there. They just kind of like were like in the background a little bit, and then they started, and they came back, you know. So what my objective was, well, what my idea was I'm just going to ignore the hallucinations, not believe in them, and whatever belief that I had, I wouldn't believe it, even if it was true. So, like all the miracles or whatever it was I was doing, or all the crazy things I was thinking, and I just wouldn't believe it, even if it was true. I just stopped believing it, and the more I would ignore them. Of course, this went on. This went on for a couple of years, right? It wasn't overnight, but after when I started ignoring them, they would just kind of like be less and less, and they would kind of like go away. But they were always like still in the background, you know. So then I joined the army after Great Adventure. I worked at Great Adventure, and I was still hallucinating then. But then I decided to join the army to get a, you know, be a mechanic. So so I got in the army. You know, passed, went through basic training. You know, I was able to. I didn't really have a problem, at least by that time. You know, I was still might have had some hallucinations and stuff, some thoughts of grandeur or whatever, once in a while or a little bit, but it just kept on gradually going away. But I didn't know if it would ever come back. I thought maybe, you know, maybe it'll come back. Is it because it's a, you know, I'm going over this real fast, and it's might seem like a trifle thing, but it's really a horrible thing. You know, it's and I didn't know what it was, so I went joined the army, had 2 years of training or 1 year of training, and 1 year of Fort Knox, basically, and then had 2 years in Germany. So when I was in Germany, I after the first year, I took a vacation and I went to England because I knew some people in England from Brazil, because in Brazil they have Canadians, Americans, and English people. So there were some English people that I knew in England. So I went to Derby, England, or Derbyshire, England, and they were like busy and everything, you know. Their kids were grown. I knew their kids when they were younger. Their kids were grown and had jobs. Everybody had something to do, right? So they just let me stay in the house, you know, in England there with the whatever it is kind of voltage system they have in England, and stuff like that. So, but anyways, I didn't have anything to do. I was watching TV. So I'm watching TV, and they had like a documentary talking about schizophrenics, and I'm thinking, wow, that's exactly what happened to me. Think these guys are describing exactly what I went through, you know, or was going through. But so I didn't even know what it was that I had until I was in off in Germany, and I saw the documentary on schizophrenics, and I had all of the systems, you know, grandeur, thinking you're the greatest person that ever lived, and then thinking you're the devil or the worst person that ever lived, and then, you know, hearing voices, seeing things, and like I said, I was even seeing the words of the hallucinations that I was hearing. And of course, it comes with hallucinations of a whole bunch of, characters or things, different things. There was this one, like spider thing and be crawling around in my head. But you laugh at it, but it's really a horrible, terrifying thing. At least I laugh at it now. But if you're going through it, that's not so funny. It's almost like going through hell, really. Shalom, Jesus is Lord. How you doing? So yeah, I had the whole 9 yards of it, and I was able. I might say it wasn't really me, of course. It was it was really the truth that delivered me. Basically, is for me focusing and concentrating on what was real, what was true, and so that eventually the hallucinations went away, and they just kept going away. They never came back. So, and so my case would be a very rare case, or one of the rare cases. I'm not that I'm the only person. There's a lot of people that have recovered from schizophrenia, but they're maybe not fully recovered, and but usually it takes a long time. Usually it takes them like years in mental institutions and everything. And I never took any medicine, which helps, which is good. Didn't take any medicine, and I didn't go to any mental institution because I was able to, you know, find the solution to what the problem was, and that was focusing on the truth and reality and rejecting the hallucinations, rejecting the thoughts of grandeur or whatever it was that is what schizophrenia is. So I basically just ignored it all, and it basically went away, but not overnight. It took years, for it to go away, and I was still thinking like it was in the background, ready to come back anytime. But it never came back. So I finished my time in the army. I went to Fort Dix. That was my last place where I was let go from the army. Got my honorable discharge. And that's another thing. I got an honorable discharge. All of my peers had their rank taken from them, and they're stripped from them, and they all got a dishonorable discharge. As far as most of the ones that I can remember that I knew that were my friends. But I graduated Spec 4, they call it. They said if I would have re-enlisted, they would have made me a sergeant. I didn't want to stay, so I left, and my sergeant was angry with me. He was a Chamorro Guamanian. He was a friend of mine, but he was angry I didn't re-enlist. But I couldn't re-enlist. It's not the life for me. So, anyways, I left Fort Dix. I was so happy. I walked from Fort Dix all the way to Columbus, New Jersey, which is, I don't know, miles. But anyway, so then I'm out of the army, and I'm looking for a job. And I got a job at the gas station, like halfway between Columbus and Newark. And I just kept getting closer to Newark because my intention was to go back and to live in Newark. because that's where the Portuguese speaking community was. So I eventually I went back all the way to Newark, got a job in Newark, but I was living out of my car. And then I finally got, after a couple of months or so, I got one of those a room that the immigrants stay in, the cubicle. You know, you pay a certain amount of money and you stay like in a cubicle, and there's a whole bunch of people that have to share the bathroom and everything. And that was horrible. But then I started going from one job to another job, looking for better pay, and they were mostly mechanic jobs. I mean, they were all mechanics jobs, but they were just mostly like working on trucks and stuff. I mean, it started out at a gas station, but then I was working on trucks, and then I worked at a gas station again, and then I got a job at Newark Airport, at the same airport that I came in, and when they took me from Chicago to Newark, and the guy that brought me to New Jersey was looking out the window and saying, looking at the people working on the equipment. He said he was looking. I wanted to keep on walking. He was looking out the window, and he says, "You can do that job, right?" I said, "Yeah, of course I can." Well, long story short, that eventually I did get that same job, that very job that I've been working for 30 years at. And I just retired yesterday, so now I can tell my story, how God is faithful, and He works in your life to work all things for good. And of course, today I don't have any symptoms. I don't have any of the symptoms of schizophrenia, and it's like I was before I became ill, and everything's good. And the reason why I didn't tell anybody before was because my job was working at the airport was semi-sensitive kind of a job, But it is what it is, and you know, I might gain respect from some people and lose respect from other people, and of course, the skeptic won't believe any of it. Because skeptics don't believe anything you tell them. So last night we were talking to Matt Bond, and we were saying that all the mass shooters, they're all atheists and liberals, and he says, I need to see a citation for that. So then we had to go show him the citation, and all of the mass shooters, all of them, they're all atheists and liberals, or kids of atheists and liberals. Some of them on medication and stuff. All of them, basically. The only one I can think of that wasn't, which wasn't a mass shooter, was Timothy McVeigh, and he was another case. He was like, somehow he thought he was doing like a service for the country or something. I don't know what he thought he was doing. But anyway, he was a little bit mixed up in the head, for sure. But yeah, God is faithful, and God has enabled me to, you know, live a healthy, normal life with when otherwise I would have been dependent on the system, living off of welfare for the rest of my life. But I didn't because I believed the truth of God's word, and I held on to the truth of God's word and everything that's real, right, and true. And that's the reason why I overcame the mental illness called schizophrenia. And of course, I'm completely healed. Congratulations on my retirement. Thanks, Ronan. Um, let's see. There was something else I wanted to mention, but anyway, yeah, I was able to ignore all of my thoughts of grandeur and hallucination. Even if I thought it was true, I had to reject it. And see that if you know anything about schizophrenia, they kind of become endeared to their hallucinations and their visions and everything. You know, the people they talk to or whatever it is they talk to. But I was able to know enough to reject all of that, and if you ignore it, it just goes away. But some people don't have a hard time letting go of it. They have a hard time letting go of their hallucinations and their, you know, their pet thoughts of thoughts of grandeur or whatever it is, and their voices. They don't like to let go of them. And the doctors, you know, tell them, "Oh, it's okay. You can have your pet friend that you talk to and stuff like that." So they never get better. With with rare, you know, some of the people do snap out of it, but it takes a long, long time. And they're, you know, of course, after they destroy their life with in mental institutions and harsh drugs that burn their brains out and everything, you know, then after a while, sometimes they'll snap out of it, you know. But I'm glad never had to go to an institution. I never took any drugs. I never had to, and I was able to get better on my own without it. And I was able to have a real decent job. You know, worked for 30 years in the airline industry as a mechanic. So that's God's faithfulness there. I don't know if anybody wants to come talk to me, but um, put that in there. But anyways, yeah. So I was debating whether or not I should tell people. You know, just keep going as I'm going, not tell anybody. But then again, you know, there's really no reason to hide it. I mean, there was a reason, but there really is not now. And it'd be good for me to be able to tell the truth about it. You know, that way I'm not hiding anything. What's up, Ronan?
What's up, Jungle Jogging?
How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
That's good. So, are you about to retire, or you're not going to retire yet? You're going to keep
Oh,
working.
well, no, I've been retired for a little while.
Oh, already okay.
Yeah, I've been retired already. Well, congratulations. You know, I mean, it's really interesting because I mean, I've looked into it, right? Schizophrenia, because I managed a lot of people, and I had to, I had a major incident while I was working that led me into studying psychiatry, on my own, not school. But
Yeah,
you said uh, you had
I,
so what
I had the whole 9 yards. I had
okay,
everything. It was,
but the question that pops up, is it to me it's you know, how could you do it? It's much a surprise to me that a person I don't know the degrees. There may be degrees of schizophrenia.
There are degrees. Yeah, there are
Yeah, yeah.
degrees.
So
Yeah.
it might have been a mild to medium form of it
And
because
every,
you were functional.
um, yeah, well, not yes and no because the church had me see the doctor, and the doctor said I had to be treated, and they said if I wasn't treated, I would have to go home, and I didn't really get better. I was still, working at Great Adventure. I was still very having all of the signs and symptoms and hallucinations and everything, hearing voices and everything, and thinking I'm this and thinking I'm that, thinking I'm talking to people across the world and casting out demons and all that stuff. So it was for considerable. It does meet the criteria for having schizophrenia because they say you have to have it like over a month or a couple months, and I had it for a couple of years, 3 years, whatever it was. But it didn't go away immediately. It wasn't something that went away immediately. It went away like in stages, you know, and it just kept going away because I kept ignoring it, even if I thought it was true that I was doing miracles or whatever. I just had to believe it wasn't true. You know, that was the only reason why I was able to get out of it is because I was able to stop believing what I believed, which is a feat in itself.
Okay, okay. I'd like to back up a little bit and ask. Well, there's different causes. Well, it's technically a chemical imbalance, right, in the brain, but something caused it. So could it have been childhood trauma, for example, or drug abuse or usage, for
Well,
example?
um,
You know, it's like
well,
that.
it could have been. It could have been. I mean, it is somewhat genetic, and it could
Yeah,
have been.
yeah. There's genetics.
Sometimes it's brought on by smoking pot, which I did for 3 years before that, and then shortly before the episode, when I first the first episode, I did smoke some pot before that. Yeah,
No,
but
but no, I don't think you're that delicate of a child. Okay,
well,
so I don't. No, no, no.
yeah, I did it for 3 years. Yeah, I smoked
But
for
how?
three
Oh,
years.
time out, time out. How old were you?
No, I was 20, 21, 20, something like that. 20.
When you smoked the pot?
No, I was 17, 17,
Oh,
18,
okay,
19, 20, 18,
okay,
19, 20. That was like 3 years. I counted 3 years back in the
okay,
day.
okay. But so okay, so but you didn't. After that, did you smoke pot?
After that, I did when I was in Chicago. I smoked some pot there.
Oh,
After I went to Bible school, after I was working as a
yeah.
landscaper,
No, no. But when you were in Bible,
the nephew of the boss had some pot, and we smoked pot.
okay, so that's all you take. So that's all you've ever done. I mean,
Yeah.
alcohol. You never delved into alcohol, for example.
No, in the army I did a little bit, but like I said, I got an honorable discharge, so it wasn't
Well, no, I mean they're not going
anything.
to discharge you dishonorably for drinking a few beers. You know,
No,
you
but
did.
yeah,
You did. I was in the army, right?
yeah.
I went through four. I went 4 years.
But all my friends were smoking. I didn't smoke in the army, and all my friends smoked, and they got this. They got
Okay,
their rank stripped, and they got dishonorable discharge.
yeah, they got busted. No, no, we're focused on you. So it's when you were not smoking pot, did you have delusions or those of grandeur?
Yeah, like I said, it was for over 2 years.
Yeah, and when you were smoking it, did you have delusions?
No, not when I because that was before the episode. I smoked before the episode. It wasn't. I never smoked after the episode. Never. I After the episode, after I got the hallucinations and everything, I never smoked pot ever again.
Ah, okay, okay. No, we'll put it this way.
No,
Well,
but I
you know,
was diagnosed, but they didn't tell me what it was. I didn't know what it was.
they might not have known.
What do you mean they didn't? They said I had to take medicine. Well, they
But
don't know what they're doing anyway because they don't even
well,
prescribe
no,
the right.
they didn't.
Half the time they don't even prescribe the right medicine anyway.
No, no. What I want to know is if they told you, hey, look, you may have, or you have symptoms of.
No, they didn't tell me anything.
So they didn't. Okay, if you weren't diagnosed, that means they didn't know.
No,
That's all it
they
means.
did say that I had to take medicine. The people at church they told me
Yeah, yeah. But
you have two options. Either you get the treatment, take the medicine, or else you go home. I said, what kind of choice is that? I'm going home. You know.
yeah. So were you physically? You don't sound like a. I mean, I mean, like a man.
Today,
No, no. I'm going to
today
something.
I'm not schizophrenic. I don't have.
I'm going to something else here. Hold on. You don't sound like a man, prone to violence, physical violence. I mean, you
Well,
could
see,
probably,
that's the thing. When you're schizophrenic, you'll do anything that comes into your mind that you think of doing. And I was fortunate enough that I wasn't a violent person. I didn't think of doing violence. You know.
no, I'm not doubting that you can defend yourself, in physical altercation. I'm pointing out that the schizophrenia did not drive you to commit physically violent acts.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah, I retired. Um, Today's my first day of
Yeah,
retirement.
yeah. Congratulations. We're celebrating and we're getting into it. Look,
Yeah.
I'm not looking down on you.
Yes,
Because,
Jesus is Lord is asking me. He's asking me outside in the chat if I'm
oh,
retired. I'd say yes. I'm retired
wait a
today,
minute.
today.
Let me pop out my chat hole, and I'm not with you.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Today, as of today, I'm retired. Yeah. Today's my first day of retirement. That's that's why I'm telling my stories because I'm retired.
Oh no, no. Again, I'm very curious about these things.
Thanks. Thanks. Yeah, I'm sure you would be. You know, a lot of people would be. I just
Well, yeah,
don't know if people will respect me less or more or
I'll tell you right now, if they respect you less, that
yeah.
means they're scared. They're scared that they might have the thing, and they are basically turned off by it. And any negativity you're going to get from anyone about anything really is
Yeah.
that those people are scared. That's what it comes down to. So basically, you have to understand that they're not
20
aware.
more years. Jesus
That
is the Lord. Joe says he's going to retire in 20 years. He'll be here what 20 years.
he'll get there. He'll get there. He'll
Yeah.
get there. That's good for him. But you don't sound like a physically violent person, and these delusions. I want to know is like when you were going through them, were you able to sleep?
I didn't sleep for 3 days. And the fourth day I was like I had like a fitful sleep. I would
Yeah,
start sleeping and I would be woken up by the hallucination by the thing. It's
yeah,
really
yeah. I wanted to
it's
follow
really
that. Yeah.
it's a horrible thing. It's
Oh,
torment.
I'm not doubting you. I'm
It's
not
like
doubting you.
being
I'm
torment.
not doubting you. Well,
I don't want to say it's like hell, but it's
I
like
don't know
being
what that's like,
it is
but
torment though.
it, uh,
Real
it, it was a disagreeable feeling and situation. I got it. But
Disagree.
but like I said, you're going through it, and if you're into one of like, I don't know what to call it. I'm calling it a spell of the
No, it
delusion.
was constant. It was
Oh, it
constant.
was constant. So you could,
Constant.
but you could still communicate with people.
Yeah, that's the way it is.
But there was always this. I guess this
You're always
other.
hallucinating. You're always hearing
No,
voices,
no,
and
no.
it's
But what I'm asking is like you and I are talking now, right? And
yeah.
let's pretend we're just two people way back in your past, and you're going through this
I'll
feeling.
probably be ignoring what you're saying a lot more.
Oh, oh, because you were into whatever thought
Yeah, because
process.
I'd be lost. I'd
Okay,
be lost in
yeah,
my own world. Yeah,
right. Oh, okay, okay. So it was hard to focus on, but you could, uh, but you
yeah.
could still interact, so to speak, to
So
that degree.
you
So
kind
it,
of lose you will kind of lose contact with the real world, and you're in your own world that's hallucinations
so
and
so
voices and hearing explosions and all kind of crazy stupid stuff. I mean,
so
that's all part.
the people that cared for you, they understood because either you told them or
I didn't know. I didn't tell anybody what I didn't know what it was, and I didn't tell
they
anybody what it
they
was.
just yeah they just had to wonder why you were
Why it was
would
acting
you
so strange. Yeah,
no would you yeah would you in other words you'd be talking
because
talking out
I never told my family, and I was living with them.
oh cool well yeah
My mom and dad. I was living with them, and I never told them.
yeah you don't want to hurt
And
you don't want to
my
hurt their
sister. Well,
feelings
I didn't know what it was, Ronan. I didn't even know what it was myself.
that's right that's right that's right
But
it's
but
right
my but but one person said that I took a big sigh, like a big sigh, and they're saying, "Oh, what are you taking a big sigh for?" It's like because it's rough. No, but I didn't even if I wanted to tell them. I mean, I didn't tell them anything about the hallucinations or anything, but I didn't know what it was to tell them what it was anyway.
right right
But I, but
right
I never told them any about the symptoms I was having either.
yeah yeah you knew
And
something was wrong but you didn't want to hurt their feelings obviously
yeah,
yeah
so by the time after a couple of years, by the time I joined the army, I was like fairly stable now, but no, I was still having you know some hallucinations and hearing some voices and stuff, but then as I went through basic training and the training to be a mechanic, I just kept on getting better and better and better. And by the time I went in Germany, I went to England. I saw the documentary. I'm thinking, wow, that's what it was. It was schizophrenia. I didn't even know what it was.
got it got it
But it's a good thing because I didn't take any medication, wasn't hospitalized or anything.
so that did that keep you from well I understand like the people that cared for you that's one thing but did that keep you from seeking like a romantic relationships also
I wasn't in any romantic relationship any of that time. No,
yeah yeah because obviously
no,
you can't think straight it's
no.
interesting
But ironically, there was when I was working at Great Adventure, there was this girl that all the guys were hitting on that would hit on, or she would ask me to sit with her at the table so that she wouldn't be sitting alone and so that nobody else would sit with her. So that's kind of like a strange ironic twist, because she didn't see me as a threat.
right right that's women have that sense yeah
Yeah,
women have that sense it's like hey he doesn't carry himself in the
right.
way yeah she normally observes from other men yeah yeah
Yeah,
yeah well pretty cool pretty cool
yeah, yeah. I thought it was interesting considering I was hallucinating and hearing voices and all kinds of stuff.
yeah but you were aware enough right to
Yeah, I was employed at Great Adventure, and I would
yeah
walk the roller coaster tracks in the morning,
yeah
the wooden roller coaster tracks. If they still have them, I don't know if they still have them.
man that's pretty good a secret this is it was a secret you had a secret that you
Uh,
struggled with that
yeah,
You know, hey, but you got through it. You know, you're here.
So now you know why when people make fun of me, my mind, people make fun of my, my head, my mind. I just laugh it off. I just laugh.
No, but put it this: I didn't know, but I still think it's one of those situations, or you're one of the type people that have a foundation that they
Yeah.
hold on. They hold
Oh,
on to.
if I didn't have the Bible, if I didn't have Bible verses to repeat, from heart, from being memorized,
Yeah,
it would have been almost really bad for me. Would have been hard for me to recover from that.
I can only imagine. I wouldn't know
Be,
because the thought, well, prayer, meditation,
yeah,
focusing before a football game, is
right.
it's a good way to focus the mind.
But
So it was something. Yeah.
but what I actually had to do, I had to not believe what I believed, which
Right.
is
Right.
really not easy thing to do.
Right. Right. But you well, listening to you, I sense that as soon as it was happening, you became aware of it and knew when to.
You're aware of it. People are aware of it. They know what's going on. They know that they're sick and they know they're having hallucinations, but they can't get rid of it. They can't, you know, make them go away or anything. And they become endeared to the hallucinations. They like their invisible friends. They like, but they have good friends and bad friends and the mean friends but the mean ones are mean and torment them and everything. It's messed
Yeah.
up. It's really bad.
Yeah, yeah. It's weighing on me here. I can sense it. Again, I don't know anything about the feeling, but I can
Yeah.
sense what you're feeling. You know, because it's man, yeah, life is difficult. Everybody has different
Right.
things that
That's true.
happen to
Yeah.
them, but
On
you know,
top of everything else that's difficult in life, you have something like that. It's horrible.
yeah, yeah. Oh, okay, okay. Hey, but you're here.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, it's to me the now, because yesterday's a memory and tomorrow's a fantasy, right? But you're
Yeah.
here now, and you sound,
No, but to think that I worked for 30 years in a high security sensitive position, it's like just unreal, you know.
well,
So
no, but you did it.
yeah,
That's the see, that's the point of it all, right? The reality
yeah.
is you accomplished something in spite of.
That is to me a real accomplishment. Yeah,
Oh yeah, well yeah, well I'm proud of you.
that
I'm
is, that is amazing to me. You
Yeah,
know,
well, yeah, it is surprising.
that's why I didn't mind if I thought my job was like menial or anything or not as good as maybe I could have. I didn't mind because it was a really tremendous feat to be working 30 years at one job to begin with. Like my brother-in-law is like he don't even you know he can't even stay at one job. He's going from job to this job, that job, the other. But I mean, they're good jobs because he's really qualified. But he, there's just goes from job to job to job. And so they're moving all over the place, all over the United States.
Yeah,
Because of it. But yeah, this is I'm pretty satisfied at the accomplishment, and I'm retired at 62.
congratulations again. Okay, now that we're here,
Here in the now.
here in the now, what had you have you ever heard of that phrase, the bucket list?
Oh, the bucket list. Yeah,
Yeah, things you want to do before you die. Are there anything
that's
in
that's
your,
why that's why I retired so I can do a whole bunch of things I want to do. Yeah.
like what?
Just to have a garage where I can tinker on my projects. I always have projects I do like in electronics and chemistry and electronics and even automotive and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually made, believe it or not, the time I was in New Jersey before I before or during, yeah, even during, while I was here in New Jersey, I actually made the precursor to an automatic transmission without knowing that it was really the same thing as an automatic transmission.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. No, I tinker. Yeah, I tinker. Yeah, I have a garage. I got things I do. Not too many things because I'm older now, and I can't move around like I used to because
Yeah.
of motorcycle accidents. But I tinker around. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's
Yep. I actually invented the automatic transmission after the fact. It just shifted I used a different mechanism to go from one speed to another speed in the automatic transmission.
pretty cool.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
Which is probably even better than what was being used as an
There
automatic
you go.
transmission.
Not. I tell you what, man. I mean, I support you. If it's a viable, if it's a viable alternative, and
Yeah.
works just as good or better than modern transmission, you might have something there.
Yeah.
Or it may be a simpler or more difficult application.
And
Depend.
I still have the working model. I actually used one of those the little kid go karts or kid electric
Yeah.
cars. They have two little motors on the side. So I took the little two little motors out, one of them kid cars, and or I got them from somewhere, and I used that to power the little cart with the transmission on it. But it only had one speed, but I could have as many speeds as you want basically on
Hmm. Pretty cool.
it. Yep.
Pretty cool. So you're just going to enjoy tinkering until something occurs to you, eh?
Yeah, because I get in these modes where I get into doing something. That's all I do.
Yep. Yep. Same here. Same here. I got different interests, and when I get into something, I get into it for a while until I get something done, and then move on to something else because I'm curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it. So yeah. So I've been very fortunate, you could say, or God has blessed me. You could also say, because God works in all things and through all things. And like I said, if I didn't have the faith in God, I probably wouldn't have been able to overcome it by myself. And the Word of God, if I didn't have the Word of God memorized, that it would have been really difficult. So that's basically what helped me, you know, overcome schizophrenia. And not everybody is completely recovered from it either. The people that recover from it really sometimes aren't completely recovered, or maybe they are, but some of them, but it takes a long time. And it only took me like 3 years, or well, 3 years, 3, 4, 5, because it's such a gradual thing.
Right.
Because
Right. Right.
it it wasn't it wasn't immediate. So it took like by the time 5 years passed, I was pretty well sure it wasn't going to come back. So I became more relaxed, about it. But I really still couldn't tell nobody about it.
Okay. So you have a what I call a relaxed tone in your voice and cadence.
Yeah.
Were you always that? I want to call it easygoing, but were you always like that? But except for the spurts of
Yeah, maybe not as much because now that I'm retired, I don't have to strive for anything. I mean,
Right, right, right.
I
Well,
don't have to, yeah, I don't have to like fight my way through everything like I did.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I follow. I follow you.
Yeah,
Well, I'm happy for you, doggone it.
yeah.
I'm happy for you.
It's my first day retired,
Ah,
and it's the first day that I go shopping and I don't have to go to work, whatever.
yeah. Put it this way: between you, me, and the internet, because I don't care. I'm being honest. I was forced to retire. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I had money put away. My career was 26 years, and
yeah,
I mean, I worked, I saved, I planned, I had bigger plans and stuff, and then
yeah,
all of the things happened in life, and I was forced to retire. I don't like it. It was never in my vocabulary because I keep wanting to do other things, and it was a sad day for me when I was
yeah, yeah.
retired.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I
but
had sort
again,
of a,
but your goal and my goal were different.
yeah, I
So
had
it
sort
doesn't
of,
mean that your situation is bad because you decide to enjoy the rest of your life tinkering around. No, that's cool.
yeah. They had gave me a send off yesterday when I went to work for the last day. I mean, I didn't really go to work, but I went there for the last day to turn in my ID card and stuff for the
Yeah,
airport.
yeah, yeah.
And so, and then once I turned in my ID card, it's like don't don't let the door hit you as you're going as you're going out.
Oh, good for you.
That's it. Yeah, yeah. No, they gave me a pretty good send off though, and they're inviting me back for a party with with me and some other people that are leaving.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, yep. Sounds good. Well, yeah, to me, it's an accomplishment because of the fact that it was a sensitive job, and I went through 9/11, I went through, all the wars and everything. And, it's a big accomplishment for me, you know, after, after having gone through what I went through.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's a major accomplishment. Major accomplishment.
Yeah. So I'm pretty satisfied with that. Maybe I can accomplish a lot more now.
Well,
We'll
yeah.
see.
I mean, because of what you shared with me, it's just like, man, your curiosity. I don't know where it's going to take you, but it's going to accomplish something, whatever
Yeah.
that is. That's
Yeah.
the good part about it. Because hey, man, the horizon is open to you now. You just go anywhere you want and get there.
Yep. Yep. That's true. Well, I don't want to make this forever, but so I'll just go ahead and I guess I'll finish up here.
Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing this with me. And I mean, doggone, best luck, best wishes for a prosperous future.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing my retirement first
Yeah,
day with me.
you're welcome. You're most welcome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm out of here, man. You got to go do something.
Yeah. I'm going to sleep right now because I was up last night in Praise's channel
Oh,
and
okay.
everybody else's channel.
Okay. Enjoy your nap.
All right.
We'll
I'll
see
see
you.
you.
See
All
ya.
right. Bye. Yep. And the truth of God's word can do wonders. It got me through the mental illness called schizophrenia so that I was not only able to survive but thrive by the power of the truth of God's word.